Orion, I want to start talking about deeper subjects now. What are your thoughts on what God is?
Well, through quantum reality, quantum physics and mechanics, they show that the whole universe is just energy. It's 99.9% empty space. And from that knowing that everything is the same energy, what else could God be, right? So God is everything. Now, through different religions, they try to um, explain what God is from their understanding. Now, Christianity and Catholicism, they use Jesus, right? And Christ was sharing that even the least among you can do all that I have done, even greater things. You are gods. It says it right in the Bible. We are an aspect of God. We are a piece of God, and God is experiencing itself through our own experiences. And God is everything. You know, you can't put God in one box because each religion was created from that time period where there was a being that was operating at a different plane of energy than most, and people tried to describe what that being was from where they were at, not necessarily from the complete truth. But all religions have truth, and all religions also have things in there that were put in there to also control what we believe. You know, but God is everything.
God is everything. Okay, yeah, that's certainly a beautiful message. Um, Obviously, Kunlun system talks about attaining certain like things similar to rainbow bodies, like they call it golden dragon bodies and things like that. Red Phoenix body. There's different terms you guys use. Other traditions, it's almost considered nearly impossible to attain. Um, but in your tradition, I know that you guys are pretty open about that you can achieve this even in your lifetime, not even after death. Like, how realistic do you think it is for the average person to attain these states of body of light, if you will? And yeah, could you go into detail on that?
Well, the golden dragon body or golden phoenix is different than the rainbow light body. The rainbow light body is when your body can dissolves and completely turns over to light and then remanifests as light. The golden dragon body, which is for males, and the golden phoenix, which is for females, we're born with that. What happens is we become not aligned with ourself through our life experiences when we have trauma or we have any lower emotions. Over time, that energy body that is ours isn't fully aligned with the physical body. So it becomes, because of the distortion in the field from our thoughts and our belief systems, we're not fully aligned with ourselves. Through the practices, we become more and more of ourself, who we are, and that body realigns with ourself. And that's what the golden dragon body and golden phoenix body is. Number two, our bodies are just batteries. We're just a liquid crystal plasma battery. So we have to store more energy than we use. So through conversations, we deplete ourselves. Through lower emotions, we deplete ourselves. Through constant thoughts, when our minds aren't present and we're just focused in the future or the past, that depletes our energy body. So through the Kunlun system, it teaches you how to still the mind and how to cultivate energy and to store more energy than you use. And when you store enough energy, the body naturally converts over. It's a natural process. And that's what's so amazing about the Kunlun system is it's not a hard system. You don't have to sit in postures for hours and be uncomfortable. There's really simple practices that you're given that helps ground you and helps cultivate energy, and then over time those bodies realign with itself, and that's when they say, oh, you've attained the golden dragon or golden phoenix body. But what actually happens is most people are operating in the outer katika channels, which is the illusionary world. And over time, when your body's fully cultivated, those outer katika channels collapse, and then you just operate through the main katika channel, which is the real world. And then you see the world for what it is, not this illusionary world, which is for our own growth.
Interesting. Okay, okay. Orion, what do you think is like the purpose of life? I mean, why are we here? And like, what are we What are we supposed to do, in your opinion? Why is there
That's
also
easy.
so much suffering, in your opinion?
Well, we live in a world of duality intentionally, so we can get back to who we truly are. So God is both sides. God is the villain, God is the hero. Let me give you an example. Our thoughts create our reality. So imagine that the news was on, and there is, let's just use a woman as an example, was watching the news, and in that area that woman lives, there's somebody that's, robbing cars. So all of a sudden, the woman feels fear that her car is going to get stolen. She really likes her car and she's attached to her car because she doesn't live in abundance and she uses that car to get to work every day. But she focuses so much on her car being stolen that one day her car is stolen. On the other side of the coin, the person who stole the car grew up in a family where stealing was okay, and the only way to become successful is you have to steal from the rich. And that was ingrained in that person's subconscious. So they both fulfilled each other's manifestation. The woman was fearful that her car would be stolen and put her attention on it enough that she manifested somebody to steal her car. So we live in a world of duality where everyone's co-creating, but most people are creating from fear in the lower emotional body instead of co-creating what they desire. Two different realities, right? So I live in a reality where I co-create and attract the reality that I want to experience. So I get to live in a heavenly plane, and I align outcomes for myself and my family that we really enjoy. And on the other hand, most people are co-creating what they don't want. Their attention is on problems, they're on the bosses that they don't like, or on the fact that they don't make enough money. So they're perpetually creating the same thing for themselves.
Man, that everything you're saying is hitting me hard because I definitely have like those like, lack type of mentalities, even though I'm connected with so many abundant, incredible guys like, Alex and Max and stuff. And, like they probably look at me and go, Karen, what the hell are you doing? Still, working at a freaking pizza store, but like, I definitely need to lately things are shifting for me for the better. Like I was telling you earlier, like I'm getting crazy, incredible gifts such as yourself, and just like this abundant mindset is like definitely shifting inside
Yeah.
me. Things are definitely like looking up for me for sure. And
What I'd recommend is
not to be. Oh, so sorry. Go ahead.
what I'd recommend is listen to some Neville Goddard. He was an inspirational speaker back in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and he really dials it in on how to use your mindset and your attention, and then also do a lot of subconscious programming. I've done decades of that because while you sleep at night, if you listen to audios like the Silva method is a really good example. It helps you remove emotional trauma, and it helps replace those limiting beliefs with affirming beliefs of abundance and prosperity. And the more that you work on those subconscious perceptions, the sooner you can have everything that you desire.
I love how you mentioned Neville and like Silva because like for the longest time for a while I was all into that, but then like you go back to like this energy work and like the traditional type stuff, and then you kind of lose touch with that, and like they kind of influence some traditions. I don't want to mention names, but like some Taoist traditions, you know what I mean? They emphasize so much on like, hey, you don't need abundance, but a simple life and stuff like that. So in some ways, it kind of messes with your subconscious going like, oh, but I want money. Like, is that a bad thing? Like, oh, I'm trying to manifest money. Is that a bad? So what I'm trying to say is like me becoming like a key guy, so to speak, over the years, that kind of led me to kind of lose touch with that abundant mentality a little bit. But like, as lately, I as I'm starting to, as reality's starting to hit me, and like, like I was, struggling early, early this year and things like that. I started to realize like, what, I need to go back more into the Neville or the Silva type of mentality. But like, ultimately, I feel like there was a reason why I kind of got into the chi work and things like that, because I really always advocated for like, doing both, like this like mental conditioning programming type thing in conjunction with the powerful energy work such as Kunlun, and there's other modalities out there. But like, I feel like the blend of the two is what makes like a truly successful individual. And that's what you see with guys like Max Reader. Max is incredibly successful, obviously. Alex Krakolnik is successful in his own way. And you are a true living testament to that. You did both. You know, Kunlun, a very powerful system, Neville, very powerful mental training system, you know, Silva, very powerful. And look at you, you know what I mean? You're living an incredibly abundant lifestyle. So I think doing both is really, truly the way to go. And thank you for mentioning that to me, because like, it's just a reminder to me, like, you know what, I know I had this lack mentality for a period of time, but you know what, like now it's time for me to really truly thrive and, you know, become an amazing podcaster and, you know, do all the other things that I want to do in life, you know? So yeah. So thank you for mentioning that to me.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's our divinity. You know, we can have anything we desire, so why not have abundance to help more people? You can't do much from poverty, you know.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, certainly. Ryan, so we've been talking almost for about an hour, so I guess we could wrap this interview up. So you are so sorry, like, you know, I didn't do enough, you know, research in this, but like, so correct me if I'm wrong. Max is just coming out with an app of some sort. Like, you are working with Max. Am I correct on that, or?
Yes, we developed an app called Quantum Mind, and to help people in all different ways. One of them was sovereignty in law. Another way was, you know, all the things we've been discussing on Qi and how to manifest reality or co-create. I'm also involved in a website called bepainfreeglobal.com, where I help people receive the best medicine on the planet in all 50 states. And from that website, we have all sorts of education on health and energy, which was my passion, you know, to help heal people.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely put those links in the description as for sure. Any final thoughts? Like any message to the audience that are watching this right now that are just embarking on a spiritual journey, or maybe they've been at it for a long time and they are maybe feeling sorry, not struck, stuck. Any message to these people at all?
Yeah, again, if you desire something, it means you can have it. And if you're listening to this podcast, there's a lot of value in Neville Goddard. There's a lot of value in the Silva method. Work on yourself. You can have anything you want. And again, you have to change the conception you hold of yourself. If you use speech that I don't have money or I'm not good or any of those things, those are programs that you're running. And you can be anything that you want to be. God is creating through you every second of your being. What are you creating for yourself? Pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to your speech, and pay attention to what you're doing with the time that you have, because that's the most valuable thing, is the time that we have. Because if you truly work on yourself, you can attract any reality that you want. And just remember, what you do to others comes back to you. So why not help people? Because that's the law of Dharma. The more good you do, the more, you know, positive things come back to you.
I know I said I'm going to wrap this interview up, but I really, really love that you talked about Dharma. What is your what is your opinion about, like, you use the word Dharma, but like, you know, I think most people are more familiar with the term karma. What is your opinion about karma and like doing good, and like being righteous? I know Alex always emphasizes like being righteous and like being truthful and stuff. He always, like, you know, tells me like, Ken, like, you know, you got to be more truthful, like you can't hold back information and stuff like that. He's always hard on me when it comes to things like that. But what is your opinion on being righteous and karma, like, and how important do you think that is for a cultivator?
Well, it's really important, because what you put out in the world comes back to you amplified. So what do you want to experience in life? Why not be your best? Why not be truthful? You don't want people lying to you, so always be truthful, and always treat people how you want to be treated, because why would you want to be treated any other way than awesome? And karma means the if you put something negative out in the world, like if you walk up to some random person and punch them, sooner or later you're going to feel the amplification of that energy that you put out. Dharma is the opposite. The good that you put out comes back to you. So when I use the word dharma, I mean it's the good karma, not the negative side of karma.
Yeah, beautiful. Well said. Okay, okay. Well, I will wrap this interview up now. Thank you so much for coming on to my interview podcast. I mean, Orion. I mean, I didn't know what to expect. I just, was expecting to hear all sorts of metaphysical, cool stories, like levitation and things like that, which is cool. But really, I mean, everything you said about being in abundance and creating your reality, that's the type of stuff that I want to get into more. And so everything you said to me like hit me really hard, and I really took everything you said to heart, and I'm really going to implement these things so that I can live like an abundant lifestyle, and so that I can really become a successful podcaster, and so that I can just do other things that I want to do in life, and really just do well in those other realms. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. It was a pleasure and an honor, and thank you.